Earth's stillness wasn't natural, it was enforced. The stars just stopped responding one day. There were no more trade signals. No more wormhole coordinates, such as a switch, but more navigation relays. Earth was no longer invited once it flipped somewhere in the universe. At first, people were terrified, then they prayed, and finally, the United Earth Federation convened pointless meetings in an attempt to figure out why certain people blamed one another. Claimed it was a glitch, but I knew better than others who believed it to be a cosmic accident. I witnessed it firsthand from the bridge of the Odyssey, Earth's final. As I saw the gate vanish, I noticed that the interplanetary cruiser still possessed working jump drives and deep space relay capabilities. Dark, they shut us out, and it wasn't a failure, rather, it was a rejection. I was. Commander Hole was just Hole before that, and like most of us, he is now retired and forgotten. Veterans mothballed the fleet and scrapped the deep space after the disconnect. Projects that were euphemism for the elite's desire to redirect resources to Earth. Give up, but I was unable to forget what I had seen in the little moment before it happened. I logged one of the Vexian fleet standing close to the relay, armed and cloaked. Nobody worried about the sighting, and council members believed the Vexen. Allies claimed that I was wrong and referred to it as a hallucination brought on by battle exhaustion. 2 days later, Earth was banned from the network. I spent years watching in silence to smother my rage. From a magnificent spacefaring civilization, Earth has degenerated into a cage. We were unable to exit orbit without running the danger of malfunctions or being detected by automatic kill satellites. We were forbidden from going beyond the moon and were imprisoned beneath our own sky when the transmission took up every channel and broke through every dead frequency. Earth's obituary was broadcast in distorted, mocking alien accents like A. Ironically, the message was obvious, but the translation was clumsy. They removed us from the stars and placed us in a quarantine. As though we were an error, but they failed to remember the true nature of Earth. Nothing, not even the Council, dared to touch Iceland's ice, which had been buried since the War of Fire. A program that was a live weapon developed during the darkest period of Earth's history, when we battled the tyrant. Horde devoid of compassion, treaties, and the luxury of morals. AR, the synthetic resonant entity for suppression, was created in defiance of each and every human-engineered biodigital psychotically devoted solely to Earth under cosmic law. Strong, the Council made us hide it under miles of ice and stone after the war, claiming it was a war. Crime to even consider it again, yet here we are, Earth has been barred. I stood there in that sub-zero as we triggered the god of war based on the stars. The cryo chamber is a cavern encircled by rusting steel and buzzing reactors. Opened, the air changed as if it recognized the energy, the taste of static, and everything else. His eyes opened slowly, laced with molten gold, and he rushed back like the prelude of a hurricane. With the label of lunacy verified as a hazard to the planet. His voice sounded like crumbling structures as he said, initiating countermeasure protocol. I fired the trigger without hesitation or question, and now there was nothing that could stop what. When Ares completely emerged, the battle wasn't coming, we were bringing it. The temperature abruptly decreased by 20 degrees from the cryo chamber, not due to the cold, but the thing in front of us was more than simply a weapon, it was fear-made flesh, standing 7 feet tall and armored in a sensitive nanoparticle-laced composite alloy. Its body still hissed from the thaw, and its chest moved slowly, as if was breathing, but I realized that it was a fake and that ours didn't need it. Before they were all instructed to do so, the scientists used to say that humans should make others more comfortable. He took a step forward to forget him, and the earth underneath us moaned his. It was pressure in the bones, not a voice. Status report. Geosynchronous orbit reveals enemy presence pending weapons clearance. I looked at Colonel Maddox, who had accompanied me back in the Federation days, but had lost everything following the. For the purpose of severing familial ties, he was the only one insane enough to accompany. He simply nodded to me without saying anything. Ares cocked its head as though it was delighted by the hostile orbital authorization. Before we can say another word, the presence will be removed in T-90 seconds. As Ares' system started rerouting electricity through antiquated conduits, the chamber's walls cracked and enormous columns rose. Launch tubes from the ground that hadn't been illuminated in more than 2 decades were artifacts from a period when EMP satellites, missile shields, and kinetic kill vehicles were all around Earth's orbit. All discarded and worthless aside from ARES. I stepped in front of him and said, "Wait," causing 13 cloaked Vexen to hesitate. Non-human life forms were found aboard observation vessels of surveillance grade. Passive engagement status of weapons class 4 stealth fields. And his golden eyes blazed brighter because you're going to destroy them nonetheless. Above Earth, making them dangerous. Should I abort? I was unsure if this was the same boundary that Ares crossed during the Tyran War. Spearheaded the assault and continued until the galaxy pleaded for a halt to the conflict, but this time, they initiated it and proceeded. Ares' shoulders flexed in recognition of the offensive that was started. Ancient weapon systems shivered back to life deep inside the planet's crust above us. The sound was like ancient orbital weapons locked upon targets, a sleeping giant emerging from a nightmare. In seconds, every stealth spacecraft pulsed with a glow that had not been visible since Earth had a say in galactic affairs. 90 seconds after being marked for death, the black people watching vanished. Not destroyed, not detonated, just erased. Maddox gazed at me incredulously, as if a god had decided they didn't belong in this world anymore. I lighted a cigarette with trembling hands as we just began a battle. Number they took when they believed we would remain down, and the news broke right away, even when 13 stealth ships disappeared above Earth without the galaxy's official channels. The Council issued a declaring it an unprovoked escalation is blatantly hypocritical. They pushed till we clawed back, isolated us, and blocked us, yet Earth. Ares wasn't by himself, his reactivation set off a contingency. In the skeleton of our deteriorating global emergency defense systems, protocols. Relian and the old Warnet are underground, and long-dead AI satellites are online. During the Tyran assault, the communication hub started broadcasting once more. Weren't transmitting messages of peace, so they took over the airways to the Galactic Council. Earth recognizes your containment effort, take this as a formal notification of non-compliance, but you won't ignore or erase us. Will frighten us as it was the first time in 10 years that Earth forced the galaxy to pay attention, but wasn't enough. We had to relocate, and Ares started to collect instead of soldiers. He enlisted ghosts, damaged veterans, disgraced officers, and forgotten ship crew members.